So first of all, there is a pretty interesting feature to the Super Heavy Samurais, which is you are only running monster cards.
Yeah, I mean, you are kind of forced to, because the Super Heavy Samurais all say, hey, this effect is only going to work if you have no spells or trap cards in your graveyard. So we actually have a list of 40 monster cards, and there are the Vernusylph cards we are talking about. He's starting it off with Vernusylph of the Flourishing Hills, discarding itself, and also one of the other archetypes in his deck, the Super Heavy Samurai cards we were just hyping up so much.
So what does this Vernusylph do?
This one adds one Vernusylph card from your deck to your hand.
And then it will allow you to special summon one of the Earth monsters in your graveyard?
Exactly.
Okay. So...
really strong.
That sounds pretty good. That sounds like a good deal. 2 cards, no normal summon used.
And we have our
And you get a special summon and a search. It's a bit like a danger.
Yeah. And
Fair
just
enough.
for Earth decks, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because you are now locked into Earth monsters. And we lately have been... we saw those cards in Earth Machine decks, and we also saw it in Madolche, but now we also are going to see this in Super Heavy Samurai, which is absolutely insane. So let's just quickly...
I would have never doubted that.
Yeah,
so
we
that is
just
so
quickly
breaking.
And look at that, we already have Regulus on the board. So I think he's trying to set up a negate here before he's even trying to get into his combo. We summoned out the Super Heavy Samurai Soulbreaker armor, and is immediately linking it away into the Super Heavy Samurai Scarecrow.
Oh, this is going to be difficult if we
Super heavy, super scary.
Super scary Scarecrow.
And this is the Soul Piercer that he's just brought back, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
that
it is.
seems to be one of the important cards in the deck.
It is a free of indeed, yeah.
You can, every time it's sent to the graveyard, I think not even once per turn, I might be saying that incorrectly, but I think any number of times, if you send it to the graveyard, you get to
not once per
search
turn, you're right.
any Super Heavy Samurai card. So that's got to be a very useful card to get whatever you want.
There's the second Scarecrow. And we were discussing and wondering what is going to be the end goal here. Like, what is he trying to accomplish? What kind of board are we trying to set up there? And look, there is the effect, because funny enough, all the soul cards of the Super Heavy Samurais, they are able to equip to one of your monsters, and then they can use their effects in the Spell Trap Zone as well, which we just see here from the Soul Peacemaker.
Yeah, and Soul Peacemaker tributes a monster you control equipped with this card by this card's effect, and special summon one Super Heavy Samurai monster from the deck. So
and that is the one we were wondering about, Tom.
Is that the big one?
Yeah, that is the big one. We were like, why is he playing this? But now we see that he can just summon it out from the deck. It is, oh no, wait, isn't it? No, it's not the big one just yet.
Scales.
It is actually Samurai Scales, so it's not just the big one yet.
That one just special summon something from the grave again. Soul Piercer, now he is
Soul
going
Piercer.
Crazy.
Looks
We're
like
just,
it's gonna search
exchanging our graveyard with our field, pretty much. We were just going step by step.
It's
Okay,
almost
back
like
to the
having
graveyard.
a Firewall Dragon in
But
play.
there now is the card that is very well known for Earth Machine players, because this is Ancient Gear Ballista, and it's also going to search the card that you're usually seeing in Earth Machines, because we are fetching out Ancient Gear Box here from our deck.
I love Ancient Gearbox.
Yeah, and
it's
look,
so much
Ancient
fun.
Gear Box is then again. Oh wait. Yeah.
Oh, he's
okay.
adding that. Yeah.
He
Ancient
gets a
Gearbox,
double search because there was
when
another
it's-
Piercer involved.
Yeah, Ancient Gearbox, when it's added, you then get to add another card from your deck to your hand with a machine, I believe, with 500 or less attack, which is a really useful effect.
Yeah.
I think this is an infinite track that he just searched.
Yeah, the only infinite track card that he is playing, the Tunneler, comes down. We are also special summoning one of the soul cards
Soul
again.
Horns?
Yeah, this is Soul Horns, I'm pretty sure.
No,
Yeah,
we're tributing for the infinite track Tunneler.
Yep.
Now.
And does that allow you to special summon itself, and then the Infinitrack Tunneler has an effect in your
and
graveyard.
look, this looks like a Link 4 to me, so there would be two options. It's either Appaloosa or Saryuja here, I'm pretty sure.
I really want to see a Saryuja. I want to see where this is
It
going.
is Appaloosa, Bo.
I've been let down.
Don't forget about the graveyard effect of infinite track Tunneler, also a difficult one to pronounce.
Surely.
This one is Pot of Avarice from the graveyard.
Yeah. But you will need Earth Machine monsters for that.
Yeah.
Which is not a big deal with Super Heavy Samurais, though, and he has been going through all of those now for multiple times already, so there are plenty of Earth Machines. And look, you can even recycle your extra deck. So when you're getting more of those Super Heavy Samurais onto the board now, you can just link one into your Scarecrow again.
I love the way you can't run any spell cards, but then the Super Heavy Samurais are just equips, and you can get such a Pot of Avarice. You don't need any spell cards. You have all of the spell effects you want.
Yeah, it seems like equipping monsters as equip spells, or like equipping them to a monster, is a thing today, because we saw the Carthagin in the spell trap zone a lot today. Now we see the super heavy samurais in the spell trap zone.
Monsters are just taking over the game. We have the hand
Oh,
traps.
but this looked like a pass, so this is the end board we were looking for.
Another Ash was picked up, and of course also the level
Ancient
4
Gearbox
monster
is still in there, yeah.
that is green. The level.
Just a second ago, you knew the name, my friend.
Yes.
The green.
It is the scales.
Scales.
Scales, yeah, exactly. That's,
Oh, and look, David with the classical opening, activating the Reichphobia.
Planet.
Oh no, it's not Reichphobia. That's
Yeah,
another
Pressure Planet
planet.
is to search the Scarecrow.
Reichphobia is to search for Scarecrow, but
Yeah,
this one,
this
of
is
course,
like
is
Race
Race Off.
Off,
Yeah.
yeah.
And he immediately answers with Ash. And honestly, I kind of like it, because we have a way to deal with the monster effects with Appaloosa on board. And sometimes your opponent just doesn't have access to Kashtira monsters at all.
also, you don't have a way to answer a Unicorn, because Unicorn just attacks over Appaloosa.
Pretty much, yep. I do agree that was a very smart play there.
Appaloosa only at 2,400 because it had 3
Yep.
materials.
Exactly.
I think he used the Ancient Gear one to summon out Appaloosa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was linked to.
So, but there is
of
Unicorn
course.
already in hand. And he's revealing it for some reason.
He's thinking
This
about
card,
it.
those are all Cyber Dragons. Just in case you're not familiar with the Kashtira archetype, there is no effect being activated in hand. You just special summon them to the field, and he's using the effect of Unicorn here, which I don't really understand, because that is always going to draw out the first negate of the Appaloosa.
Or maybe he has a plan for. Obviously, you could just attack, but he might want to do more things in his main phase 1 before.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
before
also,
attacking.
this will draw out 2 negates out of the Appaloosa now, because on resolve you can just use the second effect of Unicorn, which I did
He
not
doesn't
see
look
him
like
doing.
he's done that. Yeah, because you could banish. You could just let your opponent banish a monster if you're precious about your negates. from
Oh,
Appaloosa.
that
but
makes
there's
much more
triple
sense.
tactics talons. That is huge. And I think
that Regulus can answer
that has to be negated. by
Probably a
Regulus,
card you
because
would have
otherwise
to
your
negate.
opponent could just take it with Regulus.
Oh, but
Oh, it looks like if he's pointing to it, that means it's resolving, right?
There is no targeting on the activation, so. Okay,
Yeah.
we are. Okay, that
Maybe
was a
he
little
was
bit of a
just-
misunderstanding,
yeah.
probably, but there is going to be the negation of the triple tactic talons. What's coming next? Is there Birth? Birth would be the card you're looking for here.
Oh,
triple
wow.
tactics thrust as well. But what are you even fetching here? Because as far as I know, Regulus negates the effect of the card, so you couldn't activate another talons here.
Yeah.
So you would have to go with something else. And let me check his deck list.
And
What is
I
there?
was just thinking he's not playing spell cards, but
He
that
could
was
search a Kashtira Theosis or a
Theosis, Pot of Prosperity. I mean, there are pretty good options, I'm not gonna lie.
The typical target, like when you need to get something going, is terraforming. But obviously, if you already have used the field spell this
for
turn,
sure.
it's
So it probably is going to be the Prosperity or the good old Theosis. Yep, as you were thinking, Theosis is going to be the solution here.
I can't wait for another triple tactics card to come out, and then we can have a triple tactics turn. I don't know what the card would be, but it would be fun.
I think Thrust is quite popular this weekend, to be honest. In the last weeks, on a regional level, I didn't see it that much, but I feel like a lot of people have actually decided to run this card this weekend, and I do like it a lot, to be honest.
I think it's because players acknowledge the power of Kashtira. They know, okay, there are a lot of players on cash right now, so let me just play Thrust because it makes the matchup just so much
It
easier.
is so good versus that deck.
I love having it going second. It is one of those cards going first.
It's a
where
little bit
you're-
iffy sometimes, for sure.
But going second, it's so easy to activate because
Yeah.
your Kashtira opponents will always end with a Kashtira Rise Art.
Absolutely. 100% agreed. So that Theosis is going to resolve, of course. Jack has already activated Ash Blossom this turn, so the other copy of this card in his hand is not going to do anything. And where's... Oh, that is very interesting to me, because that Rysart... I mean, he would have to go Battle Phase first here, because otherwise he's just going to negate the effect of Rysart here, and then you don't get it to be a level 7 monster, which you want to.
Yeah, so I'd be interested to see why he chose to do that rather than Fenrir. Maybe he has a Birth in his hand and a Fenrir as well.
Oh, he has Prosperity, okay.
That is a lot of cards in his hand, to be honest.
It is indeed, yeah. That
At
is
some points I
looking
would
good.
have thought that maybe he's running out of cards.
Has
but
he just got... It looks like he has just the one left.
Yeah.
Unless he's...
Besides the Prosperity, only one more card in his hand. Prosperity now about to resolve. I think we are catching 6 cards out of his extra deck. That's what you usually do. I mean, in the Kashtira deck, you even play cards dedicated to being banished by Prosperity.
I love this interaction. I mean, it feels somehow like cheating, right? That you've got, you know, you're supposed to be banishing it face down, and that's supposed to be getting rid of it, but then
Yeah.
you can just attach them with Kashtira Rice Heart.
Interestingly enough, David has decided to only run Garua. There are multiple targets. You could also play Infinity Track Goliath, which is an Infinity Track versus the Infinity Track, funnily enough. And then, of course, also the some people play Entis as well as a target for that. But he only runs Garura, which I understand, though.
What do you think he was hoping for?
I think he looked for Birth here to extend his
that
play.
would make sense.
Kashtira Scareclaw
It's fine. It's pretty good.
well, right?
I mean, it's actually really good because you can banish with Rise Out for cost, and then you can use the Scareclaw Kashtira to banish the Theosis, which then adds you back the card that you banished. So you could get to Birth with that, which is really strong here.
You just have to be cognizant that you're not going to... Well, it's going to be very hard to win the game on this turn.
I think...
Because you've already used Prosperity.
Actually, you got to be aware of that. I was going to say, I think we could see 8,000 points of damage here.
I was going to say that, but you'd need 16,000.
Yeah, and that is really tough to get.
Yeah, 8,000 is very, very achievable for this deck, but 16 is probably not.
A lot tougher, for sure. So we are banishing the Birth, so he sees the line with the Scareclaw Kashtira, probably going to banish the Theosis to add back the Birth. But first of all, it is on Jack to decide whether he wants to negate that now. I mean,
I like negating it.
He would be preventing making it a level 7 and also preventing himself getting cards banished from the deck.
I mean, at this point, of course, you negate everything because it's basically free. You're not going to get OTK'd this turn.
Yep.
Yeah, it's only saving you like 400 points of damage in theory. But possibly less if there's a Fenrir in play, because that's just going to end up banishing the Appaloosa anyway.
But the Appaloosa should be on 0 attack now? Oh, no, wait.
It's negated 2 effects?
Okay, yeah, so he can still negate 1 more. Which is huge, because now he forces him to go into battle phase before using the Scareclaw Kashtira.
Oh, that's good, actually, yeah. I hadn't considered that.
So I think he should have just used the effect. Oh, okay, he can now still use the effect of Unicorn, but you're just not going to negate that. Let him banish a card from the extra deck, and you are still having a good time then, because you don't... oh, no, no! I think he should have definitely tried to negate the Scareclaw Kashtira there.
And now we are attacking, so that is... Oh yeah, more damage with Raid South now, so maybe just the 100 damage that you got from the Rise Heart. That's why you activated the Theosis before and just activated the effect. To be fair, I don't quite understand the line that David chose here in terms of
I'm not
attacking.
Sure. Yeah, you could have just... I don't know. I don't know why you would use Prosperity there before attacking.
So the thing is, I think the main goal of the deck is to get to a Rise Heart, which is also really good versus the deck because it shuts down the Vernisov engine. But you locked yourself out of getting into a Rise Heart here because now Scareclaw Kashtira and Unicorn will be the only level 7 monsters on the board. And therefore, because the effect of Rise Heart was negated, so it's still a level 4. And therefore you can only go for a rank 7 here, and then you can reborn the monster you detached for some kind of an effect, Mind Hacker maybe, to reborn.
Might still have Fenrir in his hand. That would make the most sense to me as to why you would search a Rise Heart off of Theosis rather than Fenrir.
That makes sense for sure.
Because otherwise you could just add the Fenrir and then add the Rise Heart afterwards. But maybe he's just made a small mistake here.
I think it would have been better off just going into the battle phase with Unicorn
Probably.
after
It would have been so much safer. There's the Birth we just added back with Theosis. Doesn't look like there is a Fenrir, to be honest.
Can you see what the last card is?
I don't, but...
But
I think if
he's teasing
Fenrir,
us with it.
If it is Fenrir, you're probably just... Okay, yeah, it is Fenrir. Okay. You are right, it is Kashtira Fenrir.
That did make the most sense to me,
Yeah, for sure. That definitely makes sense. Honestly, imagine Jack had Nibiru here. Nibiru would be such a blowout card right away, right there. It would be getting rid of the entire board. Nothing would be left for David except the Kashtira Birth, of course, which is pretty good follow-up. But then it would be back over to Jack, who probably now will have to deal with a Kashtira Rise Heart, as I was just talking about it.
Does David run the Telements Kashtira as well?
I don't think so.
Let me check.
I was just thinking that might allow you to extend your plays a little bit more on this turn.
That is indeed true, but
it'd be another way.
Not, no, okay.
People have been cutting it lately from the deck.
Yeah, I've seen like either 0 or 1 copies.
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, obviously, if you did, then you could make a rank 7 detached material and then add the Telements Kashtira and then banish, and then you'd be able to make an Arise Heart and another rank 7.
For sure.
Is there a way for David to now access Shangri-Ira, trigger it so he can just summon the Rise Heart? This is a level 4.
That is not going to work.
Negated.
That is a level 4.
So we have... The thing is, I really like getting Shangri-Ira onto the board when we have the field spell. But that would mean we cannot go into Rise Heart this turn, so I'm not really sure what's going to be his priority here, but it does look like he's trying to go into Shangri-Ira, actually.
He's having a good think about it.
But that would be the only rank 7 I could imagine going into here.
I don't know how much you think Diabolosis is needed.
Go for Diabolosis. I really don't understand why you would need that card right now, because it doesn't progress your turn at all.
It's almost what you want. It's a little bit uncomfortable.
Okay, it is via Ryza. That makes a lot more sense to me.
Because Diabolosis could trigger Shangri-Era.
If there would be one.
But you can't make them both at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. The only cool thing would have been with the Diabolosis that you could detach one of the monsters and then reborn it again.
And then make it, but by that time you've already used the Diabolosis and there's no way to trigger the Shangri-Era.
So, we draw another super heavy samurai card for turn here. And we are starting things off with the... Leo, you are the expert.
Yeah, sure. Let's see what he drew, first of all. It kind of looks to me like...
I think it was Scales.
So he's summoning Scales here, but he had that in head already, yeah.
The picture also looks a lot like Scales.
So he drew like into Transporter. Transporter is a really interesting card, which looked pretty good versus Kashtira to me. So Super Heavy Samurai Transporter actually makes you summon monsters to the opponent's side of the field. And yeah, Kashtira has a problem when you have monsters on your own side of the field because they need an empty board.
Unless you have both.
Scales. I'm imagining what Scales does based on what's happened and the name Scales, that when you summon it, you get to summon monsters so you have the same number as your opponent or something like that.
Just when it's normal or special summoned, you can target one level 4 or lower Super Heavy Samurai monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position.
Almost.
I really wanted that to be...
He summoned out another level 4.
It did that, but I just wanted that.
In fact, equaled the score of monsters on the field.
It was just a happy coincidence. That's what it did. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to continually search off of this Soul Piercer anymore.
Ooh, but look at that. He's playing Nightmare Cerberus.
Oh, he's also playing Bagus. Oh, and he didn't play around the Cerberus.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Usually, you're going to summon Kashtira Rysat in the extra monster zone, but now you gave your opponent the chance to destroy it with the Nightmare Cerberus.
Baguska normally very good against Kashtira, but in this situation, not as useful.
The problem is, what are you going to do after that?
Yeah, you just wait. See if your opponent can get something.
But I really like going into Baguska, to be honest.
You like going into Baguska?
I kind of like it, yeah.
The only problem is that there's already Scareclaw, which has got that very funny effect of being able to attack in defense mode. And you can bring it back off birth.
It's under the Arise Heart, and...
So you can still activate Arise Heart,
Oh,
right?
yeah, true.
Not when Baguska is on the field. Oh, the
no,
effects
it's
are
just
negated,
negates
right?
it, yeah.
Negates the activated
Does Box do something when it's normal summoned?
I don't believe so.
Okay, he was handing it over to his opponent there. I was kind of... I don't think so either, but... He just handed it to his opponent to read it.
Go read it, it's just a box. Nothing.
It might be
nothing to see here,
yeah,
but this must be Cerberus. I like Cerberus. Yep. That looks good to me.
Cerberus is still quite the heavy investment. You're going to get rid of one more card from your hand, which is not even the Ash Blossom, so... And Arisat can still be chained onto the Soul Piercer, and then you're left with a Cerberus and an Ash Blossom in hand. What are you doing with that?
Yeah, it's not going to beat a Kashtira Birth.
Not really that much.
Oh, and he's going to be able to attach a Garura.
No, the attachment, he's not going to be able to attach because Arisat is going to be the mandatory chainlink one here in this scenario, so it will be destroyed before it can attach anything.
It's testing players' knowledge of how you form chains in Yu-Gi-Oh! When you have multiple effects that want to trigger at the same time.
So those are going to be banished. Yep. Arisat's still on the field, so the materials for the effect have to be banished. Trying to, of course, banish face down the... Wait.
Did you just point at the Cerberus?
I would be surprised.
Wow, Cerberus is being banished, and now this game is open again. We have the Soul Piercer, and it can immediately go into the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I think that might have been not the best target.
Whoopsie daisy.
Yeah.
Why would you get rid of these Cerberus? What makes you so afraid of that Cerberus there? And look, Jack cannot even believe it. He's going to link summon right away here into his super heavy samurai Scarecrow.
Maybe he's having flashbacks to Nightmare Mermaid. That if your opponent has a nightmare in play, then...
This feels so good for Jack here.
He gets look on his face.
Yeah.
It was like... You had me there, you know. Okay, I'm just gonna keep
I will take it. And we are searching again for the one we also saw in his first turn combo. This is the Super Heavy Samurai Soul Peacemaker.
And you need to be careful here. I'm not 100% sure how this works, but if you use one of the Super Heavy Samurais as an equip spell, and then you use it as it's an equip spell to special summon itself, then that would be activating the effect of a spell, which would trigger the Kashtira Birth. So you could lose some cards from your graveyard, so you do need to pay attention to that.
And also, David needs to pay attention to that, because that is actually a pretty niche scenario. Because you see, there's a super heavy samurai deck in front of you. He's not playing any spell cards, so maybe David has already ruled out the second effect of Kashtira Birth from this duel.
But yeah, it's a very sneaky card. Yeah. Obviously, it's got two very other powerful effects.
Oh, we are equipping
so
to our Link monster.
That. So he does control a Kashtira monster, so I think you should be able to use Kashtira Birth if you want to.
Yeah, on resolve of this, I think it should be. Yeah.
But
sometimes this is also an effect that Kashtira players forget about, because it's
so
easy to forget preparations as well.
But this card is so important, especially with all the runic decks running around, because this card on its own can actually carry victory versus a runic deck.
It's very annoying for a lot of decks.
They activate a runic spell card, trigger Runic Fountain as Chain Link 1, and then you just chain the Kashtira Birth as Chain Link 2, and you're going to banish all the runic cards they targeted.
It's quite funny. We were talking about Chain Link, so that works if it's the runic player's turn, and then if it's the Kashtira player's turn, it doesn't quite work out.
And look
at
that, that's super heavy Samurai Wagon, or Wagon rather.
I was going to say, attention guys, we have a new card on the field.
Yeah,
this
but
is not a drill.
Also a free elf.
It's not a drill. No, we already saw the drill.
And so when this is normal or special summon, you can change its position to defense position, and then the cool thing is you can just change it to attack position as part of the effect as well to search another card. Yeah, no, but you can just search another card.
You're telling me I can change it from defense and then back to attack
yes. mode? It is going back and forth, and it has just lead to him summoning Anima, and he played into the Anima zone. He will be able to take the Rysard there. This is huge.
Oh my goodness. Has he got a way to deal with the Kashtira Birth as well?
I think he plays Phoenix in his extra deck, right? So that would be pretty good.
I mean, he still has a lot of plays, right? I think he is going to go for the victory in this turn.
Nightmare Unicorn as well. So he definitely has ways to deal with the Kashtira Birth.
Now cards are all over the place.
Look what he has there, Liu. We were talking about that card before the duel as well. This is the Awakening of the Possessed. Ni Furious Archfiend. And this is super special because this card can actually special summon itself from the deck. You've heard right. Leo had to explain it before the duel to me as well.
Shocked that there's a card now that can just special summon itself.
But it does.
They just really wouldn't believe me. I had to say.
And honestly, if I was a judge as well, I would be thinking this card is going to be the most confusing
you can
card.
Just special summon it from the deck
in all of Yu-Gi-Oh.
So you're grabbing your deck and be like, yep, I special summon something from the deck. Here we are.
But we're just going for the battle phase now.
Yeah, and I think Baguska is a pretty good solution now, though.
Wait, loses out to.
Oh yeah, but no, it's absolutely not a good. It's not a good solution. You're right.
I mean, if you go for this,
at least it stops your opponent from summoning back Unicorn or Fenrir.
Yeah,
it buys you a turn at worst.
To be fair, he has Kashtira Unicorn in hand, so you can just special summon that one, activate the Birth, and then just go for the Scareclaw Cash, and then just play in main phase 2.
Well, at the very least, you won't have lost the game on that turn. But hopefully, you'd want something better. But I don't know what there is that is better.
I think. I mean, I like Unicorn, but the problem is we don't have any cards left in hand, so that's not going to work out. The Soul Piercer
will search a card.
Oh, but
so if you could link and then.
Oh, you go into a link 2. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. That's really good. Look, we're going to Ballista to then search and go for the Unicorn, and then. But David then still has the Unicorn in hand. We were just talking about that, so he could just fetch himself another Kashtira Birth.
In the Battle of the Unicorns, there's only one winner. It's the Kashtira Unicorn, I think.
So we are going to shuffle away the Kashtira Birth.
It's hard to believe for me that he didn't find a way to OTK.
Still 3,600 life points left, yeah.
What lines he could have to add, I suppose.
I mean, we are playing Access Code Talker, and that is on its own already quite a lot of damage. And I mean, we got to a Unicorn. There were a lot of other monsters involved in this turn.
With a search as well?
Yeah, it seemed like there would have been the possibility. And now it's back over to David, who's feeling great again because he has an open board in front of him, only a Nightmare Unicorn to face, and his own Unicorn, as we were just talking about it, in his hand.
Playing versus only a Nightmare after this turn feels like a daydream for David.
And not like a Nightmare,
He's not going to overwhelm him with the power of one single Kashtira Unicorn.
Yep, there it is, Kashtira Unicorn. Yeah, this card alone is doing so much now.
I feel like this is the true kind of power of the Kashtira. Obviously, a Rise Hud's a very powerful card, but the effect that just one Kashtira Unicorn is just going to search you a Birth, which is then going to summon a monster from your grave and then add another monster from your deck to your hand, and by itself put probably more than 8,000 damage in play.
Also,
enough for Jack
that
to
is enough the game. For Jack, exactly. So we see David, after going second in this game and in between looking pretty rough, taking down game number 1 here. So it's Kashtira 1, Super Heavy Samurais 0, sadly.
So do we think that was the full power of the Super Heavy Samurai?
That's what I'm asking myself too.
I'm wondering, are we going to see something more exciting? Because that board, to me, looked kind of like if he was playing Kashtira earlier, then that was the sort of end board every time, then maybe Kashtira will beat that.
Yeah.
So if he's been winning his previous rounds, then maybe we've got more to see.
I mean, the hand was really good. He had to face against triple tech 2 talents and thrust and full combo, which is unicorn. He ashed the Raidsoth, but Raidsoth, I mean, he had the unicorn already, so that one was also really tough. But I think that the strategy of summoning a 2,400 attack points Appaloosa with not even a Sakuretsu resistant armor, going German there, Sakuretsu armor in the back, how is this going to beat special summon unicorn attack?
So you'd recommend siding in a Sakuretsu armor if he has any?
Yes.
Maybe.
I would be down for that.
I'm having the deck list right here. No Sakuretsu armor. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys.
I'm devastated. And also Dimensional Prison at least.
No. Okay. I'm very sorry. But in general, I gotta say, Jack seems to be quite confident in his main deck going first, because his side deck is not going to feature a whole lot of going first cards.
I love his side deck.
Because pretty much he's playing a lot of kaijus, different kaijus. He's playing a pretty spicy card with Seifi on the Time Lord, actually. That's a pretty cool one.
You have to be very creative with your side deck when you're locked into not using any spells and traps.
No traps.
So a lot of popular side deck cards, Book of Eclipse, evenly matched.
Eccentric is fantastic.
Exactly.
That is a funny one as well,
It is basically a monster, and it pops itself and then goes to the extra monster zone.
It doesn't count as a monster.
Pendulums are back, everybody. Pendulums are back.
Not extra monster zone.
He's not only playing Eccentrics, he's playing pretty much another copy of Eccentrics with Mythical Beast Garuda, which is pretty much exactly doing the same than the Eccentrics, because it's also just a Mystical Space Typhoon in the scale.
So do you think his opponent will know, obviously I should, if I make my Shangri-Era, be blocking my opponent's pendulum zones.
Of course you know how to approach the Super Heavy Samurai deck that is siding into Eccentrics and the Garuda.
I mean, that is a really good point, actually, blocking zones, because you know that you only have to block 5 zones for a full zone lock here.
That is indeed true, because there are definitely no spell and trap cards to be activated. I mean, none that are doing something.
Yeah, that is true. Eccentric in the
to
scale.
A big end board, But we are about to see everything that is going to happen here. Game number 2 is about to start, so let's go over to the table and let's see how Super Heavy Samurais here are doing for game 2. So, I hope to see more monsters being just summoned from the deck. I like that mechanic. I think I'm building a whole deck around that now.
This is this to me is like blowing my mind. Having played Yu-Gi-Oh for a very long time.
Ages, yeah.
A card that just summons itself. It's not like another effect summoning it. It's this card can summon itself.
And
so
guys, there are more.
There are more?
Yes,
that can't be real.
Each possessed familiar. I don't know what the archetype name is, to be honest. It's Heater and also
Familiars, I think.
Familiars,
it's just
I think,
Familiars. Oh, and that hurts so much. Ashing Vernusylphs is just a -1. We had the Vernusylph of the Misting Seedlings, and that gets answered by the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. And look, Jack is struggling to find a line after that. He doesn't really know how to approach this now.
I love those ducks.
Yep.
You like the ducks?
I like the ducks.
They are quite cute, aren't they?
For sure they are.
They look like they're having a lot of fun. But Ash is having more fun today.
Yeah, at the moment, Ash was a pretty good answer. But we have the normal summon of our
I'm not too unhappy about
again.
it. You still get to put a card in your graveyard, and now that Ash is gone.
Yeah, and I mean, we get to reborn that immediately
and
with
we can
the
make
scales.
our Super Heavy Samurai Link monster once again, which, do we know that what's the name of the Super Heavy Samurai Link monster?
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, yeah.
Scarecrow.
So, okay, we still have more Super Heavy Samurai cards in our hand. So they got to stop the Vernusylph cards, but they didn't get to stop our Super Heavy Samurai cards now.
And I assume the point of those is to get the Super Heavy Samurai cards. If you've already got them,
pretty much, yeah.
I guess you're happy.
I would agree on that.
That's an amazingly powerful spell there. Basically sort of tribute a Super Heavy Samurai, summon another one from your deck. I'd take that.
And yeah, it's the soul piece that just gets you another one into your hand as well, so you're getting there step by step. We also didn't really talk about the side deck of David Kennedy. One card that could have been huge here, but has not found the way into his opening hand is Dimension Shifter, because this deck is very reliant on the graveyard, and therefore it could have been a blowout card versus that deck. Oh, he linked to Anima. That cannot really be what you like,
that sounds
right?
like a possessed one.
Oh, yeah, true, yeah. Let's just grab our deck again. Let's just grab the deck again.
You knew what was going on.
And of course, that's what he's playing Anima for. You need a spellcaster.
Oh, I thought it was just a fun way to use a level 1, take your opponent's...
There it is.
So he's going to get a search and...
Another one.
I didn't even get my head around that, but yeah, he linked into Anima to get a spellcast onto the board, obviously.
Obviously.
You need
Thank
to
you
see
for
the
pointing
lines.
that out. Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I'm just checking on the side deck of David Kennedy here. The Shifter would have been a good draw. The Impermanence would have been quite good as well, and he actually got that Impermanence there on the monster that has been summoned from the deck. Ayya. Oh, but there comes a wagon as the search for the Soul Piercer still. So, I mean, we worked through 2 cards out of the hand of David.
So does he have another way to get a super
Oh, he
heavy
just
samurai to
has.
play?
That is not the best field. You can see it in Jack's face.
He's not too happy, that's for sure. So, what's coming now from David? Does he have his Kashtira engine going? Because at that point, drawing Unicorn, drawing Fenrir probably is all you need. Because that gets your... Oh, and I mean, Prosperity is going to be a way to get into those, for sure.
Yeah.
But as we discussed in the last game, it does mean that Jack will at least get 1 more turn.
Yep, that's true.
Unless there are some very cool Kashtira combos that we
That
haven't
gets
seen
to
before.
16,000 points of damage.
16,000. You probably know that means your opponent probably doesn't have a strong Kashtira monster in their hand.
Okay, that's no
So if
engine
they
yet.
miss off this...
That's no engine yet. That is...
Wow.
Maybe Rysart is engine if he has like Birth together with it. Okay. When he takes the Theosis, he already has a monster, that's for sure.
Nah, he's definitely just setting up for later.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible because none of the other cards would have gotten him to play, right?
That's true.
Rysart potentially if he has
Rysart if you
Birth or
have
something.
Theosis or Birth.
Yeah, but he can't have nothing. That's true.
It's not possible.
Oh, he has Ogre. Yeah, Ogre makes sense.
Ogre gets there, yeah.
For sure. Interesting to see that David has decided to keep Ogre in his deck, because Ogre and Preparations, because we also saw the Preparations, are usually cards that he would side out going second, because a trap card usually is not going to have that big of an impact going second, because it needs so much time to set up.
I like that, yeah.
This, by the way, heavily played into Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, a card that is not really popular right now, but again, so are the Super Heavy Samurais.
Yeah. So we are grabbing the Preparations.
Not a particularly useful card when your opponent doesn't have any trap cards.
I mean, to be honest, it still guarantees you to grind very well. And now at that point, when your opponent is on very, very, very little cards, I really like having that card for the grind game here.
It's lovely just because it's free.
Yeah.
If it wasn't just like free to add, I don't think anyone would be playing it, because you just get it for free off the Ogre. You're like, why not?
True.
I'll just add it to my hand.
Imagine Jack had another Ash Blossom, because last game he had 2. Imagine he could have just saved one of those for this game, because I think Theosis here on this, like the play that David is doing right there is pretty desperate. I think using Ash here would stop his turn entirely.
Now we're special summoning out the Kashtira Fenrir, not searching it, we are specialing it out, and then he can fetch the Kashtira Rysart with the Fenrir effect that is soon to be activated right now.
Absolutely true.
To be precise.
But on the other hand, if he ashes with Theosis, that still gets to trigger the effect of Kashtira Ogre. So you could look at your opponent's top 5 cards, just make sure they don't really get a good top tag, and then you probably get another turn.
But I mean, the battle phase does so anyway, right?
Yeah, true.
You say that, but
you're right.
Would David know? I mean, we saw in the last game, right? He had the choice of the Cerberus and the Super Heavy Samurai Soul, but he might not know what to banish.
But we searched for Unicorn. That either means we have Rysart in our hand already, or
it's something
we have Kashtira Birth.
Or House of Birth.
Or we are tribute summoning the Kashtira Unicorn
like
to
that.
search for the Birth after that.
That's my favorite of all of those. We've seen a tribute summon of a level 7 in a previous feature match.
Oh, we just got Battle Phase apparently. Yeah, we just got Battle Phase, use the effect of Kashtira Ogre on Attack Declaration, as Leo was just suggesting.
But I mean, that is, with a Rysart search, that is full combo, right?
As in, summon a Rysart.
Oh, I think...
no, you can not go for the full zone lock, but you can go for Shangri-Ira, Fenrir, and Stamper Phase, and a Rysart.
I guess giving your opponent the Gamma is pretty okay,
Is that
right?
a Gamma and an Ash on top?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you...
You can give him Gamma, you can give him Ash. It's like, probably you take one of the lower 3 cards, because that means your opponent is drawing Gamma, and then the next turn is drawing Ash.
I think it's fine to take the Gamma, because that one actually can help you play, but
no, I agree, because if you want to make a Kashtira a Rise Heart, then it's a bit of a sitting duck to Gamma.
I mean, you don't have any spells or traps to activate that could get banished, so that you have an open field for Gamma. So in this particular deck, Gamma wouldn't have made the difference, I guess. But
have we seen the Psy-Frame Gear Link in the extra deck of Jack?
Lambda, yeah. I think so.
So you could make Lambda, that would banish 2 monsters and then use the Gamma? If that was a play that he could make. I'm not sure if he could get 2 monsters in play with his current hand, but...
If he had, maybe he has Rise Art in hand, so he could go to Shangri-Ira now and then special summon the Rise Art, go for a big bang banish.
I think honestly, I don't think we're even getting there. I think the plan right now is just to pass on Shangri-Ira, special summon out another Fenrir. Yeah, look, it's just imperm preparations, and then from there on, it's fine.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, Jack might be happy to see his opponent doesn't have any Kashtira or that many Kashtira cards, but that means there are probably going to be other cards that are going to stop you from doing what you want to do.
For 1 second, I was really upset about the Ash Blossom top deck, and then I thought, oh wait, we knew about this.
We knew it. You should have already been upset. Should have been upset a few seconds ago.
Oh, but he's allowing it. Look, he.
I mean, it
okay,
works.
Okay. We already grabbed our deck there, but Jack made the quick decision to use Ash Blossom until the effect of Kashtira, Shangri-Ira. And I mean, at the moment, we know one of those cards is going to be Kashtira Preparations. And therefore, we know one of those cards is not going to do much here. But the other card is much more impactful, as it is Infinite Impermanence, which is just going to be used right there.
But he didn't use it on activation, right? So this is going to be huge, because you can just link it away into Scarecrow, discard the last card for Scarecrow, special summon back out the monster that we're seeing, Wagon. Exactly. And then activate the effect again, because the first effect that was impermed was to put it into defense position, but the important effect is switching it from defense position to attack position.
Yeah,
right?
true.
What does it do when it's switched to attack position?
Searches.
That's good. I like
most
searching.
of those do.
We were actually quite in sync there, but I guess preparations just special summons a unicorn from the hand, right?
Oh yeah, true. He can also special summon from the hand.
That doesn't help, but he doesn't have Fenrir.
Yeah, there's no Fenrir in his hand, that's true.
This is actually not over.
I don't think so. I think there is a line where Jack is getting back into his game, and I really like it.
The only thing we have to be very careful is not to put any of our super heavy samurai equipped monsters in the middle column. As people who are watching the last feature match will be aware.
Don't jinx it, Tom.
It's
Don't
very
jinx it for
easy
Jack.
thing to forget.
Don't jinx it for Jack.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Yep. So, we are now using the effect of our Link monster, of course.
Oh, we're going for scales. This also makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because that just snowballs into another monster. There's scales. Okay, he's using the middle monster zone. The middle monster zone is fine.
For monsters.
You are okay with that. So
we need this is dangerous.
He's getting closer.
We just need one of those token things you can put, like, for when the zone is not allowed to use for Nibiru. We just for Shangri-Ira, we need a.
That is not allowed.
It's not allowed. No, but it would be very handy.
Indeed, it would be. So there is, but now the wagon is coming back. The wagon is there in defense position, and as Leo was just saying, it will be able to use its effect to bring it back into attack position to search for another card.
Fantastic.
And maybe this time we are going to see the Access Code Talker coming down. The problem with Access Code Talker here, though, is if you want to get rid of the Kashtira Shangri-Ira, you would have to banish 3 monsters in total, because Kashtira Shangri-Ira can protect itself by just detaching material each time.
And you do need to do quite a lot this turn, because you know your opponent is going to have the follow-up of the unicorn.
Sure. I'm scared.
So there is Soul Claw.
Who are you scared for?
I'm scared for the... Oh, perfect play around.
Very good,
We have
Jack.
had featured matches where this has played such an important role.
In fact, it happened in the final of a YCS London.
That is
a few years ago.
It was semi-finals, yeah.
Was it the semi-finals?
It was Joshua Schmidt versus Dinkang Pham, yeah.
Well, I'm talking... The year before, it also happened in the finals.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. It must be this place. It must be about London, then. So, we got the Soul Claw onto the field as well, special summoning itself from the Spell and Trap zone. Going for another Link 2. We're climbing. There's Ballista.
And we have Ballista. Just a free card just feels so much fun. It's like Sky Striker Engage.
And also, I didn't even think about Nightmare Unicorn, because Nightmare Unicorn is getting rid of that Shangri-Ira with 1 card only in your hand. With chaining the preparations, okay. Oh, maybe he wants to get rid of that. That is actually quite a smart play here, because I think we're summoning out the Unicorn here, and then we're trying to banish the Unicorn. Yeah, the Unicorn is then going to banish the Unicorn from our opponent.
I'm interested, though. It feels very sketchy to activate this and summon the unicorn from your hand, because if it's in your hand, it's safe. You can always summon it next turn. It's very unlikely to come out of your hand. So unless your opponent OTKs you, you're going to have some follow-up for the next turn.
The funny thing is here, I don't even know whether it's that funny for David, but there would be 4 monsters on board being ready to go into Access Code Talker, right? Maybe I'm missing out on him being locked into some kind of Earth monster here. He could be locked into Earth machines by one of those effects, I'm not sure.
He hasn't used any of the Verniself monsters.
True, yeah, he got completely stopped on that. So we're searching for the Tunneler.
I think the SuperHeavy Samurais have good restrictions already.
True, fair enough. So
he does have enough to make a Link 4.
Did we use the... Oh, now we are using the effect of Unicorn, okay.
It is definitely an effect to summon the Tunneler, I take it.
Yeah, for sure. So it has to be either Access Code Talker or Unicorn, I think. And I think Unicorn might even be more scary here because Unicorn is just going to get rid of those monsters really quickly.
What is the defense of Kashtira Unicorn? Is it 2400?
25.
25?
I think it's 25, yeah.
21.
Oh, it's 21, of course.
Guys, I gotta be honest with you, I really dig that Tunneler card.
Yeah, because it is just going to snowball into so many cards here.
I like the way we should just ignore Leo's puns in there.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing that for a while.
You've been doing, okay, all right.
That is just the way to go, I can tell you.
That's the only way he'll stop, okay?
Yeah. So, there is another Link summon. We didn't really catch which card he banished there, but let's see when he goes through his deck. There is Saruja. I haven't seen Access Code Talker. Yeah, I think he went with the Access Code Talker there. But the Unicorn is still there, and we were talking about it. That Unicorn is just going to get rid of that Kashtira Shangri-La immediately. And honestly, this did look good again for Jack, but here he is coming back into this game with full power.
And keep in mind, preparation is nothing. It is a bit like Birth, but you cannot special summon monsters from the graveyard. You can just special summon from hand or the banish pile.
Absolutely.
So it would leave David with just no cards.
And here in that case, actually, the Nightmare Unicorn is good enough to run over the Nightmare
That's
Unicorn.
what I was worried about as well. When you summon it in defense mode, it means the Unicorn just kills both of your monsters.
Yeah. So
and now, what have you got left for next turn? Whatever you draw off the top of your deck?
There's one card left in hand.
Oh yeah, there is one card left in hand indeed.
Oh.
I think I saw it. I think I saw Lava Golem in his opening hand.
Yes!
I'm pretty sure there's Lava Golem left. So it's not really helping him if we link away right now. If we leave the board right there, and we are... Oh, that's Appaloosa, which is all right, because it will probably give him another turn. What's the top deck here, though? Fenrir and Unicorn are really decent. Of course, the Field Spell will do too. Prosperity as well.
Birth.
Oh yeah, true. Birth is also decent. What is it, though?
I think Scareclaw Cash would also be good. The banish is cost,
Oh,
right?
that would be...
No, it's not.
No, it's
it's
an
not,
effect.
okay.
Yeah.
Ah, right.
The thing is, you can then still special... Oh, it's Pankratops from the top!
Wow.
Pankratops is also really good. That is a fantastic top deck
from the past. It's weird to see because obviously most people call Fenrir the new Pankratops. So he wants more. He's got the old Pankratops and the new Pankratops.
Yeah, but I really like Pankratops in Kashtira specifically because it is a level 7 as well, and therefore you could sometimes even normal summon it with when Birth is on field. And oh, look at this! This card can actually search him another card even if it gets popped.
And he also has the Tunneler in the graveyard, so
Tunneler still is in there.
Actually recycle all these Scarecrows, right? Well, let's check Tunneler first.
Tunneler, does it shuffle back Earth machines? Is that correct?
I'm pretty sure it is Earth machines.
But there's no condition. You can just activate it.
Yeah.
Was he not able to use it last turn?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to have the 2 draws.
But I mean, he drew into another Earth machine for turn, which is somehow finding its way into the graveyard, probably.
Well, yeah, he has the Link 1.
I think he went through both Link ones. That's why they are in the graveyard at the moment.
Only runs 2 copies?
Yep.
Sorry, I just assumed that
yeah, that card seems so good, you would assume he plays 3. But there is the effect of Tunneler. So we are going to recycle our Scarecrows here. And now Jack is getting potentially far ahead here in terms of card advantage for this game.
Do you think Jack will be able to make up the life point difference in only 5 minutes?
I mean, it's only 200 life points he has to overcome, so
yeah,
I would go with yes. I would theoretically go with yes there.
Let's see what he is going to find off of this Tunneler. The Scarecrows back into the extra deck. We are going to shuffle up now, draw 2 more cards. Pot of Avarice for free is so incredibly good.
That is insanity.
Pot of Avarice is definitely one of my favorite cards for its play in the Time Wizard format.
Yeah. So what is he drawing? Those are... He drew Pankratops as well! This is the battle of Pankratops going down! Pankratops coming off the top! This is incredible!
Dino stare down! Ed is gonna love this.
And the Pankratops from David is not going to be able to do anything about it. It's just getting destroyed by the effect of Jack's Pankratops. And now the way is free for the normal summon of Soul Pierce and the effect in hand as well. We are ready to rumble here.
We're going to see Soul
And we're
Pierce
going to
trigger
search twice. This is incredible. Super Heavy Samurais in action in 2023.
Soul Piercer just seems like an amazing card.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that you can use it to search so many times in one turn.
It's nice that we already get it in this event, but I think there's probably multiple events to come where we can talk about it.
For sure. This
Piercer.
deck seems really good in the future. So,
It seems decent now.
yeah, indeed it does.
It's putting in the work.
And now we can activate it because this is not a summon effect either. The Pankratops top deck. So
that
few
was
people are playing
really nice.
Pankratops now, but I love this.
Pankratops stared at. I was interested in whether you just leave both Pankratops in play, because the Pankratops would be a great interruption on your opponent's turn for basically any Kashtira monster that they draw.
I think Jack is trying to not have
maybe
another turn here.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the plan.
And look at that. Oh, and this is now finally
Big
one that we
Benkei.
haven't seen. And that is the big one we were talking about earlier. 3,500 defense points. And of course, as all the Super Heavy Samurais, this guy can attack in defense position. So that's a lot of damage that is going to be applied. Look, we're attacking in defense position.
The attack
Can
motion
it attack
looks so
twice? It looks like he was attacking twice.
And this is game for Jack here with his Super Heavy Samurai deck equaling the score. What a game we had there.
The crowd is
The crowd
loving
loves
this.
it, and I love it as well. Wow.
That was crazy. So do we think the equip spell was allowing him to attack twice?
Let me just
perhaps?
double check. So that was the Soul Horns. And Soul Horns says he can make a second attack during each battle phase.
Honestly, this is like another throwback to Time Wizard format, because that was a Benkei OTK.
It was a
Indeed, it
Benkei.
was. A super heavyweight version of it, but
Yeah. With an equip card as well. This
Exactly,
is
with an
absolutely
equip-
amazing.
Yeah.
yeah, it was really, really cool. I love that, especially because game 1 and game 2, both times it looked like it was really quickly over for Jack. And both times he could come back somehow. In game 1 it wasn't enough ultimately, because there still was that Kashtira unicorn in hand for his opponent. But this game number 2, it was enough with that Pankratops from the top. I love it.
Pankratops versus Pankratops. Who wins? Of course, it's Pankratops.
Yeah,
The
easy battle.
crowd wins.
The
in a
crowd
Pankratops versus
wins it, for
Pankratops.
sure.
Wins experience.
Absolutely. So there's not much time left on the clock, so definitely let's get back into the action. Game number 3 of round number 5 coming up. Our feature match goes on.
Two minutes and 22 seconds on the clock. So can we see?
Ooh, so many kaijus in the hand of Jack. If Jack gets a turn here, it's huge.
Interestingly, we were looking before, and we saw that there was a Super Heavy Samurai that would allow Jack to inflict damage during the main phase, which is very...
Oh, and David has to set a monster. That's a chance for Jack. That's a big chance for Jack right there.
And he can actually just special summon a kaiju over the monster that is set. I know it's going to make it much stronger probably, but he can then attack over the kaiju with his own kaiju to secure 500
But
damage.
we start off with Orsa, the Earth Channeler, another card we haven't seen yet, but that makes him special summon out the monster from... Oh, but we're chaining Dimension Shifter, but we
Chaining?
already used
No,
that
this
for
is-
cost.
oh.
We already discarded for cost, so we are fine with that for the moment. Searching for the Soul Piercer.
Do you reckon Soul Piercer allows you to inflict piercing
Oh,
damage?
we see
There
it!
is the Gamma
kaiju over the Ash Blossom!
Oh boy, oh boy.
And another
And
kaiju.
another
There's
kaiju!
Kadala. Hello. Oh, and there is now a machine in the graveyard, so Regulus can also resolve.
This is not the most impressive board, but at least it is a board! Facing the kaiju, we are going into the battle phase, and Regulus is just going to attack over the kaiju, and damage is being dealt.
Gotta banish that kaiju.
Absolutely.
Not get too excited in the time.
But the most important part for Jack right now is that he
He's
gets to
done.
grab his pen and write down additional life point damage to his opponent.
Wow.
And that gets him ahead quite a bit, and David has to take that. With less than a minute on the clock, David really has to find a top deck here that can work through the regulars and then also the Kaiju on his opponent's side of the field. Oh, there comes a normal summon on top of it. Jack is like, hey, why not?
Does Jack have any more plays this turn that he can make?
So he's linking into the Super Heavy Samurai, and he was about to trigger the Soul Piercer, but that never hit the graveyard, even though he put it there first mistakenly.
Does Scareclaw have to discard something to the graveyard or just discard a card?
I think discard a card. However,
it's going back over to David. 20 seconds for David here. Is he going to find something? He has another Pancratops. Is that the answer?
Doesn't look like enough just by itself. You need a Kashtira monster.
But I think there's Ash Blossom as a normal summon, which would enable him to go into Baron de Fleur from his extra deck. Is there enough time for him, though?
He needs to make over 3,000 damage. Baron de Fleur's only got 3,000 attack.
But there is the timeout being announced, and therefore we have Super Heavy Samurai winning round number 5, being still undefeated here in YCS London. And as you can hear in the background, the crowd loves it. I hope you guys at home also love that, because I can tell you we are definitely in love with this deck right now.
Basti, is this your new ninja?
Yes, I am now a Super Heavy Samurai player. I love him for that, really.
If you play Basti at the next regional, you know what he'll be playing?
Indeed, you will. Maybe I will wait for Cyberstorm Access, but who knows, who knows.
Then we're going to Soul Pierce everyone.
This is crazy. Like, honestly, of course, that just set Ash Blossom going back over to your opponent was pretty rough.
We don't talk about that.
But the thing is, that one Ash Blossom could have really helped him, right? Just having that Ash Blossom for the effect of Ossa might have stopped his opponent in his tracks.
It's very scary just to pass with nothing.
It's infinite tracks, right?
Only one.
Okay, I like that one. I like that one. It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, what do we think in general? Is there like a special thing that this deck is doing well versus the meta? Is there a special reason why this is maybe a good call for this event necessarily?
I want to see more of it.
Yeah,
I want to see
certainly
more of what it can do. Obviously, we saw that great OTK combo with the Benkai and the equip that allows it to attack
it
twice.
almost feels like a going second deck a little bit, right? Because that was pretty good damage he was putting up there.
But I don't think that he's running enough hand traps for it. He only has the Ash and Gamma. Gamma seems a bit like he sided it in. Is that?
No, he was main decking Gamma for sure.
So okay, there's actually quite some interaction. Also, it is dangerous to Ash the Vernasils because he has
what
Gamma
I was saying. I think you have to actually main deck the Gamma, because Gamma has so many applications, even going first. Let's imagine he had Gamma in that other game there when he started off with the Vernasil, and he immediately got Ashed on it. That Gamma would have been so good, right in that scenario.
Gamma on an Ash like that is just one of the best feelings.
Oh yeah,
you turn it and you get your opponent's Ash, you get 2 free monsters. Oh, what a turn.
Just go into Sprite Sprints and the Nimble Angler. Perfect. Perfect scenario, even in the Super Heavy Samurai deck.
Absolute madness for sure. So, Jack Staples is the man of the hour, the man that's 5-0 in the tournament currently, and I have Ed with him right now, so please, let's hear from our winner right now.
Thank you very much, Basti. Yes, I am joined by Jack Staples, who's just won the round 5 feature match with the Super Heavy Samurai deck, which, I mean, those Super Heavy Samurais sent shivers down my spine, I can tell you. So can you talk to us a bit about the deck choice? Because the fans have loved this deck choice. People loved it. They were going absolutely nuts throughout that final game. Talk to us, why Super Heavy Samurai?
I've just been playing it a really long time, so I'm really familiar with it. Even if it's not the best deck in the room, if you can catch people off guard with it, it gives you a bit of an advantage.
No, I mean, it's certainly been the best deck so far. You're 5-0, and you just had your feature match. You just told me before we came on, not only have you never done a feature match before, this was your first YCS.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
And so first YCS, and you got straight on a feature match, and you won with a Rogue Choice deck. That must be very exciting. How do you feel?
Very excited, yeah. What's more to say than that?
No, that's true. So something I want to talk about is obviously Super Heavy Samurai has new support coming out in Cyberstorm Access. So considering you're sort of ahead of the curve here, how does that make you feel? Do you think we're going to start seeing more of it as the format moves on?
Definitely. It becomes a lot stronger with the new cards. I just hear a lot of people saying that it's not strong until it gets the new cards, so I had to show it off today.
You certainly did, and you've proved that well. Let's go through some of the games that we had. First one, David obviously had quite a strong start for Kashtira. There was Unicorn, Triple Tactics, Talent, Thrust, and it just kind of dominated the field. So you decided, let's just get into Game 2. What was going through your mind at Game 2? A bit nervous?
A little bit, yeah. I have cards in my deck to do burn damage, enough to do for game. So I decided to keep them in because I was going first game 2. I didn't get to use them in game 1, so I thought you still might not see them coming.
True, because then game 2, there were quite a few interactions. Then there was the Pancratops versus Pancratops halfway through. And then Scarecrow, you built a really strong field. You equipped the big Benkei with the Soul Horns, so that's attack twice, right?
Yeah, the equip spell lets it attack twice. And with 3,500 defense, that's a huge amount of damage.
It's a huge amount of damage, and that really helps secure that. And then we go into game 3. Clearly, David, in a very difficult moment, that set 1 card pass. So when you see that, in game 3, with a little bit of time left, what's going through your mind?
I need to get to the battle phase and do some damage. I think I might have gotten to the battle phase even a bit quicker. I was kind of a bit worried when I had to pass the play back to him.
Did you know how much time you had left at that point?
Yeah, we were told going in deciding there was only about 3 minutes left. So. Yeah, the game plan was do damage as quickly as possible.
Well, no kidding. Then there was the Kaiju interactions. You got that little bit of attack damage off with all the things you had set up on the field, and you ended up taking the win. So going forward, considering you're 5-0, what have you been up against so far? Kashtira, obviously, and you dominated that. What else were you up against?
I've done another Kashtira match, a Sprite, but they bricked and didn't get to play any of their main engine, and a Sun Avalon deck. So a mixed bag, but yeah.
Wow, and the fact that you've dealt with not 1 but 2 Kashtiras in a format that really lends itself to a lot of Kashtira players, that's pretty exciting. Well, congratulations on winning this feature. Your first YCS, your first feature. I hope we'll see you go further with the Super Heavy Samurais because it's very exciting. And best of luck not only in this tournament, but with the future of your deck, because with that Cyberstorm access, sounds like it's going to be pretty good going forward. And you're ahead of the curve. You're going to be setting trends for people over the deck list.
I hope so, yes.
Absolutely, mate. Congratulations once again. Guys, don't go anywhere because before we get into our round 6 feature match, we're going to have to kill that little bit of time again. So here's a speed duel for you.